welcome back to the Path Podcast. This is episode 4, season 2. Today we're going to be talking to Andrew and Brock. They have a company called Vitality Labs, which they specialize in peptides.
Yep, we hit on anything from peptides to owning a business, the state of health in the U.S. So really great value, and enjoy.
Yeah, if you guys could just kind of talk about how you guys met and why you started this company. We'll start off that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Andrew, if you want to, do you want to share about how we met?
I'm sorry, I just got unfrozen. We're talking about how we met.
Yeah.
Great.
He swiped right on me.
Okay, I know these guys.
Yeah,
edit these out.
lucky you.
That's why I did that.
We're keeping that in.
Yeah, we're keeping it.
Yeah.
So-
what
That's
is
a
trailer
this?
right
What is
there.
this podcast rated? How far does this go?
No, you can say whatever
say what you want.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're gonna bleep
worry
it
about
and cut it.
Okay.
yeah.
So,
Exactly.
I was a policeman up here in Utah for 20 years, and I met Brock. He has a health spa, and a mutual friend had told me he was doing ketamine treatments for PTSD. And so sought him out and did that treatment protocol with him at his health spa. And that was wildly effective. I'd been kind of on a journey with hormone replacement, trying to get things right, because as policemen, we burn out our endocrine systems virtually immediately in the job, just that up and down of adrenaline dumps constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So dealing with all the tomfoolery that happens with police, we're going to the ketamine therapy with him. He had a counselor and all that. And then we started talking about hormone replacement. And his clinic did that, and I started doing that. And then we just basically kind of hit off because I was relatively new to the wellness sphere. But we have just basically moving forward through that and building on our passion for wellness and getting people healthy. You know, I tried to get all the policemen I knew to come in through the ketamine therapy because, you know, you see that horrific stuff. And for me, it was revelatory. So I was doing a lot with policemen, referring them over there, getting them set up, having them get their hormones in check and optimized, because the job takes, you know, a toll on you. And Brock's physicians were able to really help in that arena because they were, I don't even want to say progressive, they were aggressive in that arena of treatment, passionate even in getting men to be able to be optimized, not only, you know, physically, but mentally, emotionally. It was kind of the whole package deal. And Brock, his background and just who he was made me want to work with him. Super knowledgeable. And, you know, we both share that passion for helping people, and came up with a business plan. Brock had been concocting it for years and refining it. And, you know, it came to the point where he asked me, hey, do you want to be a part of something cutting edge, something, it's a little bit of the Wild West with peptides. And I was like, absolutely. I love the Wild West. So, you know, we've been in business together for quite a while now. And it's kind of that adapt and overcome mentality that he has that I share. That's
Andrew's like a little brother.
Yeah.
Everybody that sees us together always asks if we're brothers every time.
Yeah.
So really, I swiped right on Grindr for Andrew, but he never left me alone. He was just kind of like this little tag along. So
Oh, okay.
no, I'm just kidding. No,
I give him noogies on the regular. Just
yeah. He gets hell or noogies. Yeah, be careful. Yeah. No, it's been ever since the day meeting Andrew, especially just doing what we do, being able to help people in that, um, in lots of areas, not only just physically but mentally and emotionally. With the specifically with the ketamine, very fulfilling in a way too. All jokes aside, to be able to see and be a part of as an honor, and it's an honor to be able to share that journey with Andrew, but then also become friends through that and to be able to work on something that we get to now share and extend that to people all over. So yeah.
One of the
That's really,
things, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's all you. You got it.
Well, just one of the things that, let me adjust this. Okay. One of the things that,
Oh, you crack me
that has been really important with the two of us and getting Vitality Labs off the ground and really rolling has been the nature of our personalities and how they mesh. And you guys probably know this, being in business together, the only ship that's guaranteed to sink is the partnership. I mean, it's like being in a marriage. And so it's give and take and supporting each other and really kind of building on each other's strengths and filling in those weaknesses that has been the secret to our success. We're new, we're a fledgling company. You know, there's some big names out there doing things in this arena, but not quite in the way we're doing them. It's more of a holistic approach, more of a, I don't even know how to put it, more of a making it affordable or reachable to the masses. Yeah, accessible to masses. Thank you. That was one of my weaknesses right there, filling in the blanks. But yeah, accessible to as many people as we can, because, and I don't know how versed you guys are in the arena of peptides, but peptides are simply amino acids in a chain, covalently bonded. Insulin is a peptide. Human growth hormone is a peptide. It's a big one. It's probably the biggest. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brock. But basically what they are is just signalers. They just hit the buttons in your body, the receptors, to make your body aware and to try and fix itself or make a change to make you more healthy. And it's I call it medicine 3.0. I think we're in the early phases of a revolution in medicine, especially in American medicine, where our diet has destroyed our health. You guys are relatively young. You're fortunate to be young because there's a whole new mentality towards diet, towards supplementation, nutraceuticals, things like that. So yeah, that's what peptides are. Essentially, they're amino acids. I call them the keys that fit the lock to open that door your body needs to really optimize itself.
Yeah. One of the things that I've seen especially is kind of this push away from like just prescription, just like going to the doctor, getting a prescription drug and just addressing the problem, as opposed to like with peptides or even just the movements in general. Now we're addressing the causes of the problem, like nutrition, exercise, sleep, and all these different things that people kind of have disregarded, or at least have been taught to disregard when they've grown up in like these education systems. So it's really cool to see how you guys are kind of pushing forth this message that, hey, you can like almost treat your body as like a software and hardware and upgrade it and make it perform better, both mentally and physically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well said.
And I think it's important that one of our part of our mission is to we're not here. Our intention is not to make physicians or doctors, medical providers, practitioners irrelevant. That's not the goal. And I think that sometimes we get so caught up in the big pharma. I mean, that whole conversation and their agenda, which is valid and true and on so many levels, but the providers are just like us as patients, as far as like being a mouse in the wheel in the cog or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're doing the best they can with the tools they've been given. So, and I use this analogy a lot. Let's say one of you is a general contractor, and I came to you and I said, "Hey, I have this screw. What's the best? And I have to get it into these boards. That's my problem. How do I fix that?" And you give me a hammer. Can you get it in there? Yeah, you can. It's going to be serrated. It's not going to do the best job, but that's the only tool that the general contractor has, is a hammer or a prescription pad to get the job done, unfortunately, as well as the information that is just insane nowadays. I'm sure we would all agree that we're drowning in information. Like, that's
Yeah,
not the problem. Like, to try and be ignorant or to avoid how to get healthy or lose weight or feel better, you have to like deliberately do that
Yeah,
to
it's
avoid
an
all
effort
of
to
it.
get-
Like, it's
Yeah,
hard not to come in contact with at some point in your day or week. But that bringing that provider and patient relationship together, because a lot of times, and me and Andrew would, I don't want to speak for him, but I know we've said this in previous conversations, that at some point you look for someone else to kind of look and see and do an inventory or an assessment, as well as what you're doing for yourself. Is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything I could improve? What are you seeing that I'm missing? And and bringing their knowledge onto the table as well as yours, because at the end of the day, every patient is the person that pays the price of putting too much trust in one person and not enough investment in themselves, or disregarding that. And it's bringing that relationship back together with their providers, because providers actually, they want this stuff. It's not that they don't love pushing pills. I hear it all the time that, oh, they just want to, they want to push a prescription so they get paid. That does not happen. Like, pharmaceutical reps can't even give out a pen. So to think that they're getting paid to shove a pill down your throat or prescribe you, that used to be the case. It is not anymore. So that narrative is just old, but it's the story that people keep. It's kind of like a legend that keeps getting passed down from generation to generation.
yeah,
And so trying to change that, with the new information, is really our challenge, and educating people, equipping themselves with the tools that they can help themselves in tangent with their provider.
Right.
Yeah.
That partnership's huge. And that's something. I'm 50. You guys are young. What are you, 38?
Yeah, I just turned 38.
Old man. But the mentality of not taking accountability for your own health is strong in my generation. It's, let's walk into the provider and I'm just going to push it all onto him. Hey, doc, I don't feel good. And he has to do tests and all that to try and figure it out. Where I think nowadays there's more of this ownership, this accountability for our own health, and partnering with your doctor.
Would you even say, Andrew, sorry to interrupt, but would you even say that I almost see that people are trying to do it all by themselves? Is why I even bring this whole entire topic up in the first place, is because there is, other avenues to get peptides specifically. And it's hard to know what's good, what's not, what's good sources, what's not, but that they don't want to go through a provider. And I understand why they don't. I understand how we've got there, but I see a lot more people doing that and having no clue what they're doing. And peptides still being relatively safe, there's still things that you need to be aware of that can have some long-term consequences at some point, that you don't have to experience if you were just doing that in tangent with somebody who's educated, aware, and equipped themselves with the knowledge of how peptides function and work in the
Right.
body.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that's our main customer base at Vitality Labs is providers. We're integrating that medicine 2.0 and bringing medicine 3.0 and saying, hey, look, these things are amazing. They really do have incredible effects on the body. We would love to talk to you about it. We've done trainings with people. We've sat and come up with business plans to integrate those things into their practices. We want to work with physicians because this is their future. This is the future of medicine going forward. I promise you. I'd say it's Wild West because it's just brand new frontier. And a lot of that, we actually do a lot of education stuff, which to their credit, most of the physicians we come across are very open to that. They're very, you hear this, oh, ego driven. You're a doctor, you're a surgeon, so ego driven.
They're
We
thirsty
haven't
for
found
it.
that. What's that?
They're thirsty for that
Oh yeah,
information.
we haven't found that ego is interfering. They're really concerned with their patients, and instead of treating, they're looking to cure, and that's huge shift in mentality. And what Brock was saying too, a big part of this is going to be mountains of information and a lot of products that are out there that are just straight bunk. They're just straight bullshit. I've only, I'm on social media a lot. I'm kind of the marketer. We both do sales and stuff, but everything I'm seeing on TikTok, everything I'm seeing on Instagram shops, oh, we got the BPC 157. It's on sale, $18 a bottle. Then I scroll through their pictures, and it's nothing but a bunch of amino acids they dumped into a jar. It's not BPC. It says BPC blend, but they're not covalently bonded to form the BPC chain. So from a consumer standpoint, going to your provider to get something that's manufactured in a GMP compliant facility. We have a facility that's FDA compliant, has the clean rooms, has everything. Having that, oh, wow, this is a safe product. Oh, it's actually what it says it is on the label. It's not, it says NAD and MN or something. All that stuff I'm seeing out there, and I screenshot it every time. I'm just send it to Brock, like, this is our competition, and they're out there in waves. But when you see them, just go look on the label. It'll say BPC blend, but then it just lists a bunch of amino acids. It doesn't say, like the one product I saw that was on Amazon said BPC 157, which is the healing peptide for your joints and your gut and things. That there was one that said BPC 157, 300 milligrams per capsule. Everything else out there was just false, spurious. So going to a provider is a good step because they're concerned, they're licensed, they're cautious, and some of them overly so. Wouldn't you say, Brock? They're like, whoa, slow down.
Yeah.
Because we're passionate. So it's important.
That kind of really, that really speaks to how powerful like social media marketing is, because all those bullshit products that are on there, that's all those people are seeing, and they're uneducated about what peptides are. Me included, honestly. This is really the first real conversation I've had about peptides. But that's all they're going to see, and that's what they're going to believe is the number one product. So that is tough having just so many products in that industry. But yeah, that's kind of my takeaway on that social media part.
I think there's warnings and examples. There's two types of people, and I just named them. And we are all those at one point or another in our life of what to do as an example, and also what not to do. And as much as I want to make a plea towards all your viewers for everything that is important to you in your own life, in your own health, do yourself one favor and stop listening to people as if they're medical doctors from TikTok, because you're the one that will pay the ultimate price of it. No one else will. You will. And absolutely. Not saying there's not people out there that have good information, but there's a lot of people who say there's some, and Andrew would probably agree with me. I've been doing this for 20 years, peptides itself. So peptides is far from new to me. And I don't say that, with an ego, but I've been doing this for a long time. So when people started just talking about, I'm like, catch up to the game. Like, I've been doing this for a very long time in the powerlifting community. That's been a well-known secret for even before I knew about it. That's how I got introduced to it. And so, just not listening to everybody on TikTok would be my thing, as far as taking that as medical advice or they're right, and do your due diligence. There's people that, like I said, do have good information, but fact check them too. Studies. I tell everybody, don't take what me or Andrew say and just listen to it. Like, we're not lying. All we're doing is we're sharing what we know, but we don't know everything. And the one that will pay the price or reap the benefits is you, but you have to do your own due diligence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you
We
trust
couldn't
your
agree
provider,
more, actually. Because at Path, we teach people to critically think. We talk about this all the time on the podcast. We
So-
teach people to critically think. We provide them with information that we're knowledgeable about, but we'll also have experts in the same fields kind of on the podcast and providing their value as well. So they're getting everything.
And to caveat it as well, it's like just because we say something is true, like you just said, it's like we aren't experts in everything and anything. There's so much information in the world that just because we say something doesn't mean you should take it to heart, right?
Mhm.
We
Right.
just want to give people tools that have helped us and then help them experiment with that in their lives so that they can see if it works for them. Because like I've tried, for example, like I've tried a carnivore diet and Ben's tried a carnivore diet. It worked pretty well for me. I really liked it, but he absolutely hated it on the first day. He couldn't even do like 3 meals.
Yeah.
So it's like one example of like many over like hundreds of people
Yeah.
or even thousands and hundreds of thousands.
See, and I think that goes back to just as another example of, let's say for me, I was about ready to do the carnivore diet and I came across you guys and you guys did consulting or something, training in that aspect or whatever. I could listen to you and do it by myself. And I'm probably going to figure out some things the hard way or not figure it out at all. Or I'd say, hey, what did you experience? Like that is the power of that having a support system, somebody else who's gone through, like, here's what to expect. Hey, that first day's rough, man. Like if you can get through those first 3 meals, that first week, I know it's not fun, but just power through it. And if in a week you're still having that, then maybe we need to look at something else. But that first, you know what I mean? And being able to troubleshoot, not have to troubleshoot it on your own. But hey, I'm experienced this. Is that normal? Oh, yep, I had that, and this is how you fix that. Like you fast track your progress when you model people who've already done it. Like you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you just got to make it better. And how do you make it better? By learning from other people and their mistakes.
Yeah, that's a great way to think
Yeah,
about it, 'cause
that's
yeah.
wisdom right there, learning from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, and that goes back to like the conversation that we had a couple minutes ago where you were talking about how like early, like when you said you were younger and like people were so dependent on the Medicare system, but now we've kind of shifted to where people are way too independent. And then now you get into the environment where you don't really know what's in it and people are just selling it just to sell it. And it goes back to that relationship between the provider and the customer where you need to have that open dialogue of, hey, this is what has worked for me. And like the physician's like, hey, yeah, okay, I understand that, but also have that background of expertise. And it's kind of melding that relationship and kind of almost emboldening it for each like provider and customer, because then that's where the value is going to be created.
Right. And it goes back to even just that information and sifting through that to get the knowledge that, like you guys have said, we know a lot, and I'm sure you guys know a lot in your area of expertise or profession. And we would all agree we don't know everything. And that's the beauty of what we do though, too. But I was just listening to a podcast about Dave Asprey, and he was actually recanting some of the things that he's written about. And he's like, I wish I knew what I knew now then, because I wouldn't have promoted it as much because of now what I know. And that's just the way information works. And and being able to stay with the most up-to-date current and being open to, when those things come into your awareness or space, that take a consider, be open to it, but don't be open to everything and just try it because someone else said it. Like, but those who are saying, hey, I'm human enough to be able to say I made a mistake, or what I do then, it was good, but it's, I would change it now. And here's what I'd tell you to do or not do, because it's even better what I know now. And that's through his own trial and error. So
Exactly.
I think we're all doing this together. And with peptides, there's so much new. I mean, for the first time, more people have experimented, used them than ever before. And so that information, even anecdotally, is, I mean, just coming in so quickly, and the stories and the, again, even though it's anecdotal, there's still real accounts of that, in my opinion, of how it's helped people change their life, improve their health, whatever that may be. And I think it's super exciting to be a part of that, because it is kind of like the Wild West, being a pioneer in a way, paving the way for what could possibly change medicine in its entirety in one way, shape, or form, and medicine.
That's amazing. Would you be able to kind of give us a little bit of a history, maybe not history, but just like a general knowledge of what a peptide is, and then kind of transition into like the benefits of it, how to use it, and then like what you guys are doing at Vitality Labs, and so we can kind of see that whole like timeline.
Yeah, Andrew, you want to go? You're good at that explanation.
Sure,
I've
we can
talked
do
enough.
that. So like I was saying before, amino acids in a chain, just different amino acids bonded. They're going to signal your body to do different things. Great examples. Everybody's seen it everywhere. BPC 157, body protective compound 157. Mind you, there's like 7,000 different peptides, and I would say probably, what would you say, 40 or 50 that are the most popular that people are using?
That's even the most popular. I'd probably keep it to 10 or 20 at that.
Yeah. So basically, they're just signaling agents to tell your body to do something. BPC 157 is made in your gut. It signals your body to repair the stomach lining. It's in your stomach. It also, if you're taking it in excess of what your body produces, it's great for your ligaments, your joints, your cartilage. It's just heals inflammation. It cuts inflammation. I'll send you some pictures.
Yeah.
Of I had a bursitis in my elbow, and it was as big as a ping pong ball. I racked it on the side of the damn counter, and it just swelled up huge. And I was draining it 10 milliliters, like 4 big syringes every other day, and it would just come back. And I was like, well, I'm going to try BPC with this. And then my fiance was like, let's go to the doctor first. Let's see what they say. So we went to the doctor, and they said, okay, give you some ibuprofen, some ice, and then we'll refer you to the orthopedic surgeon. They'll probably just take the bursa sac out. Now, your bursa sac is what your tendons ride on, so it doesn't ride on the bone, and it's filled with fluid. Well, it was huge. It was like a ping pong ball. You'll see in the picture, like, oh, God. But so I went to the doctor, and they said, yeah, we'll just have them take that out. And I was, well, what about my tendons? Won't they fray up? Oh, well, we can go back in later and shave that down if we have to. And I'm thinking, okay, if I have to do that, that's expensive. That's there's rehab, all that. So I tried the BPC 157, and that issue was resolved within a month. I mean, when I send you the pictures, you'll see my elbow there's no bursitis in it. And it resolved within a month, all because that BPC told my body, giddy up. Fix it, There's peptides, and mind you, we don't sell things we haven't taken. I mean, Brock, he's been in the sphere for 20 years. He knows his stuff. There's peptides that will balance your serotonin out. I was a policeman for 20 years. I was on 2 separate anti-anxiety medications, Wellbutrin and then Buspar 3 times a day for 2 decades, guys. Anti-anxiety meds. I mean, I was there you go. There's the photo. He's got it right there. Pull back. There you go. Yeah. So, and I'll send those too. But I started NAD, which is a coenzyme technically. But within 2 months of starting that, my serotonin was balanced out. I've been off my meds. I've been off for a year. Yeah, within 2 months, my stuff was balanced out, man. Those NAD helps with mitochondrial health. MOTS-C is one, kind of a funny name, but it helps with your mitochondria. It makes them healthy. In turn, your mitochondria can protect your DNA. So your DNA, when your cells reproduce, if your DNA is decayed, it produces cells with decayed DNA, which we call aging, right? So if you can keep your mitochondria healthy, they can protect your DNA. We can reverse some of those things that are related with the cells going bad. There's epitalon, which lengthens your telomeres. Your telomeres are the caps on the end of your DNA. Every time they reproduce, they get shorter and shorter and shorter until cell can't reproduce anymore. If you can lengthen those, healthy cells keep replacing the cells that are worn out, which that's the fountain of youth, man. If you could do something to add good quality life to your life, of course you're going to look into that. So peptides have their applications in many different spheres. I had my nose, I had surgery to get my deviated septum fixed. And the surgeon, when I came back, I think it was 2 weeks, 10 days for my visit, he was like, "What are you doing? You're like, how did you heal that like that?" Well, it was BPC. I was taking BPC. I was taking NAD. So
I mean, he
these,
looked like Freddy Krueger.
I'll send you a picture.
For real.
Black the eyes out because I did have a laser thing too.
It was crazy how fast he healed, though. Like when he says that, I think a lot of times too is people. It's hard to believe with what when they first start learning about it or hearing about it, the benefits and what it can do for people. I've got plenty of stories of people who have just been like in utter disbelief, and I'm like, you know what, just try it. What do you have to lose? And
$40.
they try, right?
Yeah.
They try it and they're like, holy crap. Like
Mhm.
it's one of those things that when you experience it or you witness it firsthand, other than that, it's hard to believe that
Guys,
it can do what it does.
Yeah, it's a quality of life issue. So another example, we had one person that in their 70s had to have help getting out of bed, couldn't pick up the grandkid and put her in the high chair. Started him on a regimen of BPC. 2 months later, popping out of bed, no aches and pains, able to scoop up the grandkid, twist, and put her in the. I mean, so as far as like, okay, yeah, my elbow's great, my face healed fast, whatever. But quality of life, everyday stuff we deal with, which you guys aren't there yet, but you will be. You know that when you hear grandpa go, God, you know, anytime he stands up out of a chair, that stuff disappears. And quality of life, it's immeasurable. You know, I feel like I'm 25 and I'm 50. And that's just a recent development in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years of being on a regimen. And the side effects, there are side effects to peptides, but they're so minimal. You know, when you talk about NSAIDs, ibuprofen, your Tylenols, you know, liver failure, kidney failure, all these things that come along with it. Peptides can act in a natural mechanism in the body to add to quality of life. And like Brock said, I mean, there's studies out there on these peptides, okay? They're out there. National Institute of Health, a lot of real scientific, double-blind, placebo, good studies. But the anecdotal stuff is just, it speaks for itself. And I really wish they could harness the power of the internet to do those studies with 100,000 people instead of 3,000, you know, because we're talking to people and we're seeing it firsthand. Well, okay, a very common peptide is the tirzepatide, that Mounjaro for weight loss, right?
Yeah.
You've heard of that? People are losing 100 pounds. It's a prescription now through Eli Lilly. That one in particular, one of the side effects that people are experiencing anecdotally is spontaneous, I don't want to say healing, but a cessation of their addictive behaviors. I mean, it decreases inflammation on your hypothalamus, and people are like, oh, I stopped drinking, and I didn't even think about it, which was my case. You know, again, this is just an excuse, but alcohol was a crutch for me. I was drinking 3 30-packs a week and did some tirzepatide for a while. I wanted to cut. I admit it was vanity, but I wanted to drop pounds. So I got on it, and one day I'm sitting there with my fiance, and I grab the beer on the table, and it's half full and warm. That did not exist in my house, gentlemen. They went down smooth, cold. And I was like, how is this possible? I went to the fridge. I said, hey, Tiff, have you noticed anything about my drinking? How long is this 30-pack in there? She's like, 2 weeks. I just, without thinking, had ceased to drink 10 beers a day at the end of the day. And people are seeing that with addictions like opiates. They're seeing it with sexual addictions, which you wouldn't even think it was chemical. Things like that because of the effects it's having in the body. Now, I don't know if there's any studies on that. I don't think there is yet, but there damn well should be.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So I can't imagine a society without addiction.
What would we do
Not
without
in America.
Well,
Plenty of addiction
how many
go around.
people are like, I've been to rehab 6 times and I just can't do it. all these people that want to, and it's not like a magic pill. I don't want to say bullet, magic pill, but damned if it isn't a great tool to use to help those people that are such a drain on our resources and society, against their own will, to help them recover a life, quality of life. Again, keep their kids, stay married, have a job, all those things that addicts lose. That's just, I mean, you've seen the videos of the guys in the fentanyl lean, where you're like, how are they standing up? It's a damn shame. And things like peptides tools like that can really help our society. And that's the mission of Vitality Labs, is to make it available to people and get them the information. And yes, we do sell peptides. So
yeah. Wow. So would you say you'd recommend taking peptides as like a daily like treatment, or only when you need it, would you say?
I would say to that's a general question that I would try to answer that the best I can. There's some that you could absolutely take daily, but to say generally, you'd have to know what those, be very specific, and not every person's going to need each of those. Like Andrew mentioned earlier, there's just a lot of peptides to see on a daily basis, one versus the other. It would just depend on the person. BPC, I would say, is a pretty general. You could take that every day. There might be some people out there that disagree with me on that, but I've yet to see any reason as to why they can't.
Okay.
So
Cool. Yeah.
and then there's others like Epitalon, which is the one that does the thing with the telomeres. You do it twice a year for 10 days or 12 days, and you're done. It's in your system. It's working. So there's some you do, it's a one-time cost once a year. There's some you do that you're going to take. I take BPC 5 days on, 2 days off, Monday to Friday. I'm on BPC because I jump out of bed. I can run. I can do all the things just like when I was your guys' age. And for me, the second thing is it's helping people with gut issues, like all the leaky gut, all those. It's repairing that kind of stuff. It can be very effective at helping with those issues. So some people, they're taking the omeprazole and all that for heartburn and things. Well, what if they could take something and have a better effect, by taking it once in a while or whatever. So curing versus treating.
Yeah,
that's what we were looking at.
That's honestly a great approach, because I think, especially with what we kind of been discussing this entire time, you're seeing this push like more towards the root of these problems. Like there's always been this big discussion. I think from what I've been hearing, peptides seem like maybe not solve all of them, but they solve a large portion of those source problems, right? They help with a lot of different things. And it'd be cool to kind of think of a world where, not to say addiction would completely go away, but a lot of the vices that people have would just like be minimalized or not even exist. And then imagine what you could do if you didn't have to, like, I don't know, drink every day, or, have fentanyl or any of these things. You could be able to build a life, a good quality life, like you said. And that's a really powerful thing. It's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how would each of you define a quality of life as time goes on? What does that look like for each of you to be able to do as you get older? Because we have today, the present, right? What you can do, but what would that look like, 30, 50 years from now? What do you want it to look like for yourself?
Definitely. So I would say there's a lot of aspects, and that's why we've broken up PATH into 3 pillars: financial freedom, health and wellness, emotional intelligence. While we're on this topic, health and wellness, I would say do everything I can before those 40, 50 years hit, as like preventative health, like focus on my diet, stay hydrated all the time, actively work out every day, or 6 times a week. Just looking to the future and wanting to, pick up your grandchild without any pain. That's a huge quality of life thing for me. For financial freedom, I would say having a company that's self-sustaining, and brings in the revenue that I need to just live my life, like do what I want when I want, And Andrew, we talked about this in our last podcast. We don't need a mega yacht like and some golf. I'll be fine with like just a little house, and maybe another house on the lake or something like that. Just having a quality life for myself and for my family, being able to provide them with whatever they want, whenever they want. That's probably the ideal life that I would see.
Yeah, right. I'd say for me, if I were to think about in 30 to 50 years, a good quality of life would just be, I think, just simply being able to do anything I want when I want to the best of my abilities. And whether that be like from a health point of view, being able to, I don't know, hopefully deadlift at least a decent amount. I don't know, maybe still repping like 405 or something like that. But no, just like being able to like even just pick basic things up, or like you said, pick up the grandkids, or even go for large walks, or go on vacation, go travel, and all this sort of stuff. And just having a good community. And I think that's where you said financial freedom comes in, is having the amount of money in order to build a community of family and friends around you. And that's really what I think is powerful, is just being able to help everyone improve the quality of their lives. And by everyone improving the quality of their lives, you improve the community. You can improve the relationships within that community. And that's the most powerful thing, I think.
Yeah, being at that center. Yeah, for sure.
Would you settle today for anything less than what you can do currently, as far as physically?
So for anything.
Like when you say being able to pick up a grandchild, let's say it was just a kid. Today you could probably pick them up, throw them up in the air, and it not be an issue. And I ask this rhetorically because as people get older, it is this common acceptance of anything less than what you can do at your prime.
Yeah.
Nobody has to accept that anymore. If you want to pick your grandkid up, not only just as easy as it is today, but when you're 80, that is not a distant fantasy or fallacy. That's very real. People do it all the time that are doing those things, preventative investing. Part of a financial, being able to be financially free would also be financially independent in your health as well, or well in your health. Because it's an investment. Because I'm curious what your guys take. What's most important out of those three pillars? What comes first?
I would say,
That's a health.
yeah, health
Without health, you can't do. anything.
health or emotional intelligence is up there too. Being able to understand your emotions, you'll be better able to understand people around you's emotions too.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we build a better society.
But
If everyone listened to each other and understood where people are coming from, we wouldn't have the issues that we have today.
I'd be curious though,
Right.
because I would push back to say that, like, have you ever had like brain fog? It's like it's harder to think when you have brain fog.
Mhm.
So maybe it's if you can kind of decipher and hit some of that stuff in the health concept, and that would bleed over into like
Yeah.
emotional intelligence.
Yeah, it's connected for sure.
So,
Tell you,
Yeah, emotional intelligence.
at 50, I've talked to a lot of people, and being a policeman, if you offered a guy with cancer who couldn't get out of bed, or even not even cancer, so let's say just really bad arthritis, and you said, I'm going to cut you a check for $1 million, or I'm going to cut you a clean bill of health, which do you want? Every single time they're going to say, clean bill of health.
Yep.
I want less pain. I want more mobility. I want less inflammation. I don't want to feel sick to my stomach all the time. I'd like to eat food, so
Should I ask him,
that's
Andrew?
what Brock's getting at. What?
Should I ask him? I know Andrew's heard me ask this question a million times, but
Yeah.
Okay. So how much would be life-changing money to each of you? What's that dollar amount?
Like a check cut out today.
Let me get my checkbook.
big number now.
Yeah, you know
10
what?
million, 100 million, a
I
billion?
would say
No.
5 million, because
5 million?
if I had $5 million, I know that I could turn that into something more. Like we started our first company with $600 and we did $100,000 in revenue in our first year. And well, we abandoned that company and started a path with the funds that we've created from BD Industries. So I would say $5 million would be life changing because I would work that much harder to find smart investments, fund new business ventures, and then it just keeps compounding over time.
Okay. What about for you?
That's a tough one because like it's a hard, it's like a double-edged sword, right? Because I do think having money is good, but also it's the pursuit of something is more important to me, like the purpose behind it. So I don't know if there's some sort of like monetary goal. I mean, 5 million sounds fantastic. And like if you even, I think even like $1 million would be great if you put that into investments and then you get like just return like a good 12% ROI in an index fund or something like that would be really good. But and then you could just pay for it. You don't have to worry about money. But I think that
Like if I was just a genie
yeah.
that just poof
Ooh.
and said, I have to get rid of 2 wishes so I can free myself. And I can only give you 1 wish, and that's to give you money. How much do you want? How much do you want? You just tell me, I'll do it.
I'd probably say 100 million.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if there's
There's no
cap,
limit. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
100 million.
Now, if I
But
told you that you would get that by the end of tomorrow, but by the end, or you'd get it today, but by the end of day tomorrow, if you accept that money, you are going to be given a prognosis. You're going to be given a disease, something that will kill you by tomorrow. Would you take it?
no,
No.
absolutely not.
So you just both told me that both of your health is worth more than $100 million.
Absolutely.
And I think,
Wow.
and I ask people that because when they're looking at an investment in themselves, even in the pursuit of, I love what you guys do. I mean, that pillar of health, emotional, mental into financial, like there's a lot of people that financially their health is shit, to say the least. Yeah, they worked hard to get there, but they're going to pay a price at some point, and probably already have. But is it worth it? If you can't
Right.
enjoy it and you can't do all the other, so it is this balance of life of what's most important. So I do, I ask that to help people who are maybe not in that aware of a mindset as you guys and on that path to getting that clarity to what's most important. Because when I can tell you time and time again, my previous background is in home health and hospice, and being a part of that transition when people get to make that transition to the life, next after this one, whatever it may be, that there's nothing more important than your health when it's on the line. And you would do anything, give anything, any amount of money to change it if you can, especially if it means you're not suffering and you've not lived a full long life. I mean, when you've lived a long full life, and a quality life, those people are good. They're ready to go. They're like, okay, I'm good. But those who haven't, fight it, and they don't want to, and they change it in a heartbeat because they feel like they've missed out. So that ultimate investment is in ourselves in our health, because when your health isn't good, nothing else matters. Nothing does. You'll give it all away just to get it back. So, and then it'll, like you said, it compounds towards the other ones as well as your mental. When you're saying brain fog, is that emotional or is that a health physical thing? I would dare say it's a physical thing because of some deficiency or excess inflammation. That when you clear that up, then it allows that emotional well-being to kind of be more clear and less hazy too. But it also is that emotional clarity that you already have established that allows you to say, okay, I'm having a brain fog, so I'm not going to be super frustrated with myself or get irritated with other people because I know something's going on. I just got to correct it and figure out what that is. So, I mean, they all go hand in hand. You can't do one without the other as far as those two go. So,
And I think that speaks to our goal with Vitality Labs. Do we want to be financially healthy? Yes, please. But vlabpeptides.com, guys, go there. But as far as like, you said it really well, purpose. Without purpose, you could be healthy as hell. And what are you doing? Flipping through the channels? That's 50-year-old speak for being on your phone. You got to have purpose. You got to be able to do things for other people. And our purpose, what that we found is, man, nothing feels better than having somebody come back and say, I bought the BPC, I took it, I put it to the test. My doctor told me that here's Vitality Labs, it's good stuff. And now I can pick up my grandchildren. And I couldn't for 10 years. And it killed me. We'd go to Disneyland and I'd be with a walker, I'm 70. That's ridiculous. Now I'm feeling vibrant and young. So with our business, it has some rewards that are beyond
fulfilling.
Way beyond the monetary. And it really has given us a purpose. I just get so frustrated when I know that there's something that can resolve, I don't want to say cure, but resolve an issue for someone. Mm-hmm. And they just don't have, first of all, the backing of friends or family. There's a lot of people, oh, you don't want to try that? That's, what is that? Second of all, maybe they have a provider that just frankly doesn't know where to get quality, safe peptides, or they don't know what's out there that they can, give their patients to improve their conditions. And that's the other thing, is getting the providers on board, especially for my parents' generation, my generation. That's who they trust. And so getting those providers on the board was really paramount for us. So if there's any providers out there that are within the sound of this podcast, know that we partner with people. We have the studies. We have the ability to bring people up to speed and point them in the right direction to ultimately really make a difference in a lot of people's lives. There's peptides for macular degeneration, which 80% of the population gets by age 75 or whatever. They lose their eyesight. My dad's going through it right now. You think of an ailment, Brock, who's been around for 20 years, would be like, oh, PNC 27, oh, SS 31. Big acronyms, and you're like, whoa, slow down, turn off the fire hose, give me a faucet. But if we can provide a quality peptide product to a provider or even pharmacists, they'll sell them on the shelves, where people can go, oh, I trust this brand, I trust this store, I trust my pharmacist, and see results that are, like you said, it's the $100 million check. If you knew you were going to die tomorrow or in a year for accepting it, you wouldn't touch it. And if we can give them the $100 million check with peptides to have that quality of life, we are purpose driven to do that and provide a good life for our families at the same time. But we're not going to take the shortcuts and do the TikTok bullshit where we just throw a bunch of amino acids in a bottle and sell it for $40 for 3 months. And you'll see these rebranded over and over. Now that we've talked about it here, they're listening. Your phone's on the table right there. It's listening to you. You'll see a ton of these pop up. See, forget that. But you'll see it pop up, and then you'll see, oh, that seems like the same stuff with a different label. You know what I mean? They're having to rebrand because people are like, this doesn't work. Let's move to this one. So I can't stress that enough. Your sourcing matters. Going to someone who has, like Brock was saying, those providers have a great medical background. They can be like, whoa, your iron count's way too high to be doing this one, because they know if they take this peptide, what can we do to get your iron count where it needs to be so you can take this? Or that's just an example, but they have that background to know what the mechanisms is, because when we start talking about providers about peptides and receptors and that, and when we really dig into the science of it, they just start sprinting. They're just talking, and then I'm lost because Brock knows the medical lingo. I'm just like, get it for you. Like this and that. I'm okay. You guys take off and do your thing. But as far as a company, this was a no-brainer. It was really, really easy to come up with a product base because we were using them already. To come up with a mission. Not even a mission statement, just a mission. What do we want to do with this? What's our ultimate goal? To come up with the ethical boundaries we were going to abide by, because that's just who we are. And so all those things fell into place really quickly. And then the next step was just to get a manufacturer who shared those qualities and those values and ethics and that desire, that purpose to get people to where they could be, to living that best life that they could be living. I mean, I've talked to people after 2 or 3 months of doing a certain peptide, and they're in tears. They're like, this was life changing for me. Everything that I had that I couldn't do that was so important to me, I've regained. It's back. Thank you so much. And I'm like, thank Brock. I sold it to you. I figured out what the bottle should look like. No, really, that's, you know, it's fulfilling. And I love that your guys is, I really did a deep dive on your company through the website and just looking at things. And I think that your philosophy would also align with ours, just getting people there, you know, and you're young, but you're squared away, and your philosophy has probably been influenced by people who are older than you and experts and things. And you've been able to incorporate that. And we can touch the health lives of the 30 to 70 to 80 crowd, right? Real quick. They're like, wow, I feel great. But when you feel great, your attitudes of, I'd like to maintain this. That's why Brock asked that question. In 30 years, would you like to be able to deadlift 300 pounds? Yeah. Well, that's entirely possible. Just keep building and adjusting along the way, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
that's a good demographic to break into with these two.
What exactly?
And you guys are out of Florida, right? Was it Florida?
No,
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Oh, okay. I don't know where I got Florida. About to
Yeah.
stop in at Kansas City.
I wish,
It's the mossy walls on the back.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Yeah.
That's only in Florida.
No, yeah. If I could move somewhere warm right now, I absolutely would. If we could move the studio down there.
Yeah, winter is
That'd be
coming,
fantastic.
gentlemen.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm bracing for it.
So
But no, it is really inspiring. The what you mentioned about purpose and passion, Andrew, because that's how you avoid burnout. We stopped our first company that did 100,000 because we had no passion and purpose. It was just to make as much money in the shortest amount of time possible.
That's transactional.
Yeah, it was all transactional.
Okay.
So with Path, we have a passion for giving people the answers they're looking for, the guidance that they're looking for. So we will never get burned out with this company. So that really resonated with me, that you guys have that passion to help people, because we're the exact same way.
I was
As
curious to see-
entrepreneurs, you guys know it's not easy, especially if you don't have a passion for it. Why go to work? Why sacrifice when all it is transactional? Because if that passion ain't there, being an entrepreneur, Alex Hermosi says it perfect. It is being able to go every day to your passion and business and getting kicked in the nuts for 15 years and still doing it and still loving it.
Exactly.
And that passion and that purpose absolutely fuels what we do, as well. And I think being able to just be in the same, even though we're not in the same state, but just being able to be introduced to you guys, people that are brought into our awareness and space, to be able to share in that and expand that to others, because at the end of the day, that passion means everything. If we're not making a difference in someone's life, I don't care how much money our company does, it's pointless if we're not making a difference and we're not helping people. It's irrelevant to me to hear those things, those stories, how we facilitated people change their own life. We don't do it for them. We can't take that credit, but to be able to help them, educate them, inform them, and facilitate access to be able to, so that they can take their health more into their hands, and how it's changed their life. And then that rippling effect is worth more money than any amount of money than all the money in the world to me.
Absolutely.
So
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's a great place to wrap up. Yeah.
well, are you gonna make
I always hate that part of the podcast. It's like, all right, I'm gonna cut you off. This is when we're stopping. It's always the most awkward part. But no, we really appreciate you guys coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah,
anytime.
absolutely.
I think is that if the opportunity ever presents itself and your guys' viewers want to know more, we're always happy to come back on. Or
Well, thank you. I got to bounce. I got a 2:30 I got to get prepared for, but I really appreciate you guys. This was
you got to
another
comb his hair.
Really productive afternoon, so I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. It was nice to meet
Yeah.
you.